How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Alrighty, how's everyone doing? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We had a little bit technical difficulties. OBS crashed on me, but hopefully we're back and lock and loaded. Let me know if the audio is sounding good. You could have gone with the Masters winner. Ooh, that would have been a good call. Man, I was struggling with coming up with an idea for a thumbnail. I honestly sat here, wasted like an hour just thinking about the thumbnail. I couldn't figure out what I wanted, and at the end I was like, oh, you know what, I did watch Katy Perry and Bezos's new girlfriend head over to the moon go to the space for like 5 minutes, so why don't I just try to make that as a meme? But no, Rory with the green jacket getting a career Grand Slam. Monster achievement, obviously, but didn't choke when I needed him to. Just gotta love when that happens. But no, congratulations on a monstrous achievement to him, and also congratulations to the achievement to the ladies this had today. They got to go visit the space for 5 minutes, and then you know, basically talk to the camera. Out of those 5 minutes, 4 minutes were spent talking to the camera and playing with toys. So you know, great job flying to space. and not really spending time looking out the window. I don't know. It was a joke. We'll talk about that more in depth once we actually go to the screen. But today, let's talk about the market. Nice gap up on the market. Opportunities were across the board. Palantir popped up with some good news also. But after that, it was just after the gap up, there wasn't much momentum to the upside. It was just pullback after pullback after pullback. So shorts really played off if you were patient for it. So I got to capitalize on some shorts today, also on some longs, and then bull. My goodness, Webull IPO'd on Friday. Did not know about this IPO at all, but Webull IPO'd on Friday, and today was just an absolute mission to the upside. So that was an insane stock. Missing that long was not not a good thing, because there was tons of money left on the table because of Webull. But I did manage to get a small little short scalp on it, which I traded poorly. I did make money, but traded poorly, and I say that because I could have made a lot more money if I traded it properly. So lots of opportunity today. Just happy that I'm green. Made at least my goal for the day, and looking to start maybe risking more starting the next few days if the opportunities are there. But gotta make sure that you don't get overconfident and start punching randomly just because you had a pretty good month to start off with. Alright, so let's go to the full screen. Talk about my trades on the day. Starting with PDD, my best trade of the day. Was watching Baba go higher. Some of my pod members, my Discord friends, were calling out how they took the Baba breakout long. I wasn't really looking to take any breakout longs given how extended I felt like the market was on the gap up, and some of these stocks were on the gap up. I think Baba wasn't actually that extended, so I guess taking the opening range 5-minute breakout on Baba, given that it was above one of the more important levels for me, which if I remember correctly was like 110 yesterday. So reclaiming one of the important levels, staying above it in pre-market, staying above it in intraday, and all that. I just figured there was a long there, but I just stayed away, chose to not take that route. Pulled up Pinduoduo, and I noticed that this one had a similar pop as Baba, but almost a one-shot move straight to the upside. If you look at from yesterday's close till this move, that's basically one ATR, and from the open or today's low till today's high is kind of around like 3/4 around the ATR or so. Given this little ramp over here into $99, and then how the stock is not able to hold around 99 at all, I took the 2-minute bar low. Also a little volume spike for compared to the rest of the volume bars on the day, right? One of the biggest volume candles, ignoring that candle right there, which is the opening candle. One of the biggest volume candles over there, where the stock just stalls out and doesn't have any more momentum at all to the upside. So taking that change of characteristics, previous candle low breaking, that's usually also where a lot of longs are taking their profits, as the previous 2-minute low break. So taking advantage of that and taking short onto the downside, getting a quick little scalp around VWAP. Later on, taking that flip below VWAP. I think this was right at $97 even, both of these bottoms and even these two areas. So maybe it was $96.50, I can't remember, but I think it was 97 actually. So when it pulled back into 97, taking that 97 breakdown, right around here was when the stock actually goes into the 9 EMA crossover on the 5-minute. So that's the fashionably late scalp from the SMB guys, and then it drops down to 96. And then I'm looking at the tape on the order book. 96 has a couple buyers over there, and I'm like, okay, if we take out the 96 buyer, I'm willing to add more. I can basically pyramid into this trade and have my stop out at my last few trades over here. would basically be losing a little bit, not really pyramiding in the right way, or maybe I can even stop out on somewhere up over here. At the end of the day, managing to get that drop to the downside. Fashionably late scalp profit target, I think, was actually $94.30 or something. In front of that, the stock actually has I saved the picture so I can put it in my notes after. So let me open this real quick. So in front of the 94.30, you can see how buyers are already using some inverse gateways. We can get into that later, but the buyers are coming in. You got a bunch of size, 520 lots, 110 lots, 190 lots, even before my target. And I'm noticing every time it does dip down there, we're just bouncing right off of it. So I figured, hey, let me just start taking some profits quicker and faster. So I started taking profits and then got stopped out. Gave it a couple attempts later on, but took my flat exit and walked away. My best trade today, Pinduoduo. Next one, this one sucks to miss out. The way I would have liked to trade it is this right here. If you pull up the stock on, I mean, you can draw a trend line, right? But I more so drew the trend line to hunt for the short, and that short lined up so well. So it sucks that I didn't get any fills on the breakdown over there. But coming back to the stock, right around here, you can see how the orange EMA, that's the 21 EMA on the 5-minute, the stock pulls back to the 21 EMA, and then it just starts to find buyers in this area. You can either slip in your bids into into the 21 EMA area, and then your stop is that red candle low, or you take the breakout of the 5-minute candle and you risk that 5-minute candle low, and you basically just trail your candles, and you do end up getting a look all the way up to the higher date. So for that's what is that, like a 45 to 42. So you can already see a $10 risk to reward coming into play right there. You're risking about $3-5 depending on spread too, because the stock does have a random $2 spread. So you think you're only risking, you know, the candle low or the candle high, but depending on your entry, depending on how low that candle low spreads open up to and where you get filled into, you got to consider all those. So let's just say a nice and even $3 risk to reward over there, $3 risk, and you got almost a $8 reward to the upside just to go take a look at the higher day. And then the stock never really goes back to the 21 EMA all the way until here. So if you just trailed that 21 EMA, you get an exit all the way up to $67 on what was one of the craziest names today. However, the short that I was looking for was right around this area. If you go to this chart on the 2-minute, that looks very much like a bouncy ball setup. And if you look at the anchored VWAP from the day's high, I guess you could even put it over here, and the anchored VWAP from the day's high, it actually shows you how the stock pops into this area and rejects. It has a little bit of a back and forth around here, but over here is where the sellers really start to kick back in, and then they take out that flat bottom low at $69. Sadly, I got short on the 2-minute candle high break over here, or low break over here, risking that high. I was very much okay with risking, you know, $4 per share. My stop was above $80. But I was very, very quick with my exits. I didn't even get $4 per share profit. So honestly, my risk to reward was whack on this. But had I just traded the stock a little bit better, you know, I would have possibly captured about a $15 per share reward on this for risking about $4 or $5 on that. So decent risk to reward. But the most important trade though was right here for the short side, in my opinion. Hard to get liquidity. We can go take a quick look at how the liquidity played out on that breakdown, and you can see how on the 10-second chart it actually broke. I mean, that candle high is $70.15 and the low is $64. So as it broke that candle, it was pretty damn hard to catch that fill, basically, right? If you got lucky, you got lucky. If not, it was pretty much game over for you, especially if you were caught on the offside. This is the 1 second chart, and bang, look at that big drop on that 1 second. 1 second, halt, 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 and then it was next 5 minutes it just halt, I'm pretty sure. How did that play out? Anyways, so bull very much on watch tomorrow. It is a large cap stock. You know, Webull is not a small cap name. It is a large cap stock. So audio on, is it not on? Okay. It is a large cap stock, so knowing that the large cap stock, I wonder if looking for a heavy short on this was probably not a good call. But given how extended on the day it was like, well, a 400% at that time. I saw clear stalling coming in on pops around 74. So I figured I'll slip into a bit on 74 and risk that $80, or 76 and risk that $80 high. But the better trade was to catch that pop right there and then catch the breakdown of the 69 if you were able to actually catch that fill. That was the trade, and for the long side, in my opinion, that was the trade. Or if you were watching this, then you could have taken the actual opening range 5-minute breakout. So a bunch of opportunities over there on Webull today. And I'm sad that I wasn't watching it all day. I only started paying attention around here. I don't know why. I was more so stuck on Pinduoduo, I guess. However, I did trade other names today and they were profitable, so I'm not going to be too mad about it. Apple, one of my pod members, Caterino Pepperino, shout out to Caterino. He called out this trade, said the opening range breakdown of Apple. But one thing I noticed was Apple's 9 EMA was quite far from this breakdown level. So usually if it's that far away, the snapback risk is higher. The chances that the stock breaks out or whips back to the 9 EMA and rejects the 9 EMA is a little bit higher on the 5-minute. When you are taking that breakdown, you want to see the 9 EMA on the 5-minute being a little bit closer to the breakout level. That way you can risk that 9 EMA area, and if that 9 EMA area fails at that point, then you can be like, okay, the stock was on a trend, it's no longer on that trend anymore, right? Thankfully, the second time I was still watching it, I did notice that the 9 EMA pulled down, and it was right around this area. I usually trade off of my trading view charts over here. So right at the second time with the breakdown, the 9 EMA was only about 50 cents higher, whereas the first time it was almost $1 higher. So risking 50 cents sounds way better than having to risk about $1 or much on this name. And thankfully ended up catching a nice move. Just trailed it, didn't have to worry too much. Trailed it and then got trailed out right around what, 202, 20180s or so for my last few trades. Just enjoying the ride, not too hard on that trade. Amazon, it was bouncing off of yesterday's VWAP, or I should say Friday's VWAP. So around Friday's VWAP over here, Amazon just went on a straight one shot to the downside. You can also call this the S&B Capital Bella scalp, where you just draw a trend line, but that's not what I did. I just kind of waited for, honestly, I remember what I did now. It was this backside scalp. I was kind of pissed off that I missed this backside scalp entry on Amazon. Which was this breakout of this area for a move into VWAP. So when the stock actually pulled back, I took some entry for a starter size at the high of those areas, and I waited to see how the stock would react on the pullback. When it pulled back and it started to show me strength again, I added, and then I added on the breakout of this area, but didn't really have that much momentum that I as quick as I thought it would go into VWAP. It didn't go into VWAP, so I quickly started taking out my trades, and that was just a small, tiny winner. The better winner really comes from right around this 184 VWAP reclaim area. So kind of like the fashionably late scalp on Amazon when the 9 EMA crosses VWAP, getting long, and then basically catching that quick little ride to the upside. And I think right here was when the market just kind of poops itself and just dies. So taking Amazon back to the red. Keep an eye that or notice that how I think Amazon was one of the only few large caps that was red. Am I wrong by saying that? Why Meta was down 12% today? Holy smokes, why didn't anyone call this name out today, dude? Okay, So that's a little change in characteristics. You can see how Meta even tried to hold right around yesterday or Friday's VWAP and then gave you a second chance scalp to the downside. I'm gonna have to add Meta to a list of stocks that I have to write up for tomorrow, or tonight I mean. So we're gonna put that in the notes. Not sure what the news is for this one, but oh, that's down $12, down 2%. Okay. I thought that was a big move because I saw 12%. No, it's down 2%, down $12. But overall, down on the day, whereas the other tech names such as Google had a pretty insane rally to start the day with and still ended up 1.23% after pulling back. Look at how it bounced right off of Friday's high. So you know, most of the tech names were fine. QQQ actually ended up green, SPY ended up green, IWM is green. So not sure why Meta took that big of a beating tonight. And we'll for sure put that one on the watch list, which is not made yet. I haven't even made my watch list yet. All right, Amazon, quick little long scalp to pad my stats with. Another long scalp on Nvidia off of why did I take that long on Nvidia? Off of Friday's high? Yes, that's what it was. So as it was holding around Friday's high, taking that long, and then not really getting the juice that I want from it, so just taking my scalps on that move up. It's basically like making $1 per share. Not too much going on over there on that one. Ford, I tried to get a little special over here when Trump announced that he is going to work with car companies. Ford, GM, STLA all popped up to the north side. They took a little bit of a beating with the whole tariffs on autos and so on. But with Trump obviously now saying that, hey, we are going to work with them, I guess that's a good enough of a catalyst. I thought it wasn't good enough because there weren't actual details outlined, but the fact that he even said something in the realm of the positive sentences, people or markets or algos, whatever you want to say, they bought up the name and they kept buying it up. So I guess going short how heavy I did over here was a little stupid. I could have saved a lot of money over here by not going as heavy short, but I gave it like a C level risk. And or maybe even like a C minus, right? So it wasn't that bad, but it was something that I could have possibly avoid. It's not something that I am very good at. It's not my best setups, right? It's breaking news setups. So something that I can refine with this is you know, sticking with the trend. The trend was to the upside, and see if you can stick with the trend instead of going against it on a name like this. So Ford popping up. Google, I tried to take the Google opening range breakout high today after 10:30 or so. Given how strong Google was, I thought this would just continue going higher, but nope. It kind of capped out at that point, and then it tried to go. You see how it tried to have a goal right there, but when that failed, I could have cut my trade completely and walked away, but I did have my stop at the low of this area, and then I just completely closed the trade and walked away. This was also a little bit of a loser, but not something that I'm too worried about. You know, had a okay day to start the week with, and ready to rock and roll to see what Tuesday's got in store. So I don't really have a watch list for Tuesday yet. That's a lie. I have a little bit of a watch list for Tuesday. So let's pull up that watch list for us and see what we can talk about. Oh, okay, so I did type in some stocks over here. For the most part, all stocks, I guess, and then we can maybe grab something from our other watch list helpers such as Centerpoint, Twitter, and so on. Okay, APLD. Oh, that's right. We got earnings names back on board, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the earnings season for this week. APLD announcing earnings today after hours. We got a couple bank stocks over here, FBK, Pinnacle, but none of them that I really care about trading tomorrow. APLD might be something that we care about, but it is like a $4, $3 name. So not sure if it's that interesting. Bank of America, bank name, Citigroup, another bank name, Johnson & Johnson, that's a pretty good name to look at, and PNC. So 4 names over there in the pre-market that report earnings, but only one that we are interested at the moment, or at least I am interested at the moment, for the after hours, which is APLD. Let me quickly pull in APLD on the charts, and let's go take a look at, where is it? Where is APLD? There we go. Let's go pull up APLD on the charts. What did you do in the after hours? Ooh, we sold off big time going into last week's low of $4.32. What is that on the earnings report? Third quarter 52.9 versus 63.42 million. Digital infrastructure loss of 8 cents per share, beating estimates of 11 cents per share. So beating EPS by slightly, but missing revenue. Ended the quarter with 261 million in cash. Let's see what the outlook is. Don't see any outlook. Stock dropped by 28% year to date heading into the print. Stock was down 9.86% after hours. Okay. We are continuing to see progress and remain commitment to delivering sustainable long-term value for our investors. What do these guys even do again? Total revenue was up 22% year over year, however, even after missing on that side. Primarily driven by continued expansion of the company's cloud services business, a cloud company, okay, which was up 220% year over year. The applied digital data center hosting business generated 35.2 million in revenue during the quarter, down 7% year over year. So I guess a little bit of a mix. I mean, that's a pretty big number. That's a pretty small number, and that's a pretty big number too. Or I guess a moderate number. So what's being reflected in the stock is actually not being reflected through the revenue. I wonder if it's coming through something else. I mean, obviously a miss on revenue over here up top from the estimates probably is a big part of that, but not seeing any outlook is also not really a good thing, right? So APLD dropping to the downside. What's the title say? Revenue miss estimates despite strong cloud services growth. Hey, see, the title is basically saying what my sentiments are from reading this. However, shares do slide to the downside. For trading, I think, let me just quickly delete some of my drawings over here, which I'll for sure not be needing. For trading, if we go to, is this something I'm even going to care about for a day trade? It is dropping down to $4, which is right down to this area, which is last month's low. That's supposed to be April's low, or was it last week's low? Yes, last week's low. So it's dropping down to that last week low area. It is growing still, right? 22% growth still year over year, and cloud service is still growing 220%. So this possibly could hold and give you a very tight risk to reward where you can get long if that $4 area holds, especially if there's a big buyer down there for a day trade. But if overall market sentiment or stock sentiment is just to the downside and they just want to beat it up, then you don't really want to be fighting it. So I might be watching down near for this $4.32 to $4 area to see if there is some sort of a long based on the earnings report. But besides that, I mean, I'm not really going to look for a long after that. If it goes to below 4, then maybe I'll even look for a nice short to the downside and then ride it to whatever lows it want to go to, right? So under over $4 for me to see how the stock plays out. What is the stock's PE? I don't expect it to have one. It's losing 8 cents per share. But where is it? APLD. What are the other details? So it's a $2 billion market cap, 35% short float. Ooh, okay, I like that. 217 million floats total. Okay, so that's a pretty decent short float. The next low beside that is $3. I could see $3 coming into play if we do break 4 tomorrow. I could see $3 coming into play, but the earnings report is also not that bad, so I could see the support opportunity for us to get long into, or me to get long into. Um, 420. You gotta love that one. 420. Okay. Nah, yeah, we'll just stick to that. APLD, where is my notes again? Yeah, I basically have that in my notes already. Next one on the board is actually stocks that report tomorrow pre-market, so not much that we can actually do with these names, but you know, you can draw your lines at the moment. A line at the top of the range high, at the range low. I think that the trend at the moment for the bank names was positive earnings, if I remember correctly. JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. Did Goldman Sachs report yet? I think they did, right? Yeah, so Goldman Sachs. So far the numbers were decent and they were moving higher. So JP Morgan did have a failed breakout today of the earnings day high, but it didn't really sell off too much to the downside either, right? So watching to see how bank sectors continue to report. I don't really get too excited about trading bank names, I'll be honest with you. As a day trade, they do tend to be a little bit boring and they're boomer sectors. But given the market currently, with how smoked these stocks got with the rest of the market, we could potentially see some buyers really quickly coming in and stepping back in to take this position back up. If the earnings report continues to be the exact same way it is, I don't see why it isn't. There shouldn't really be any change yet. And if the comments are also in the good side, so waiting to see how Bank of America sets up for it. Any moves above 37.85, 38 basically is a long for me, and then any move down over here, we'll see if it holds up for a long opportunity, and then below 33 and weakness below 33 is just a no-brainer short after that. Same idea for Citibank. Charts look very similar. You could just go ahead and trade XLF, I guess, but I think XLF, you want to make sure what the highest percentage weighted stocks in XLF are. I'm not sure what they are. I don't know them by heart, but you want to make sure what they are before you just simply trade XLF, because BAC and Citigroup are both going up, or just because of BAC and Citigroup are both going down, I'm just going to short XLF. Probably not a good idea, right? So watching the bank ETF to trade these bank names, always something that you got to keep an eye out for. It's always a good idea to keep an eye out for the sector ETF that you're trading. If you're trading energy names, watch energy ETFs and so on. Do you expect that we already market bottomed? What the hell? What the? Why is that so small? Okay, there you go. Do I think the market bottomed? I mean, nobody ever knows if the market bottomed, man. It's just such a weird, you know, guessing situation. You never know if the market bottomed. You could always, you know, wait for the market to reclaim the 200-day moving average and then say, yeah, it bottomed, or you can try to catch a falling knife. It's up to you, right? It's up to you. Do I think it's bottomed? I think it's very it's possible, but at the same time, you know, all it takes is Trump to say a couple bad things and we're all the way back to the downside. What if World War III is actually right around the corner, with Trump using military power to take Panama Canal and so on? So we never know what actually is going to play out. And if it actually reclaims 200-day moving average on the market, and you know, we start breaking all-time highs, then hey, clearly we've bottomed, right? But if we just pop here and reject and then drop back, then you know, that's scary situations, and then probably more downside incoming. The recession people keep talking about, the Great Depression, the Great Depression. However, the tariffs, we'll see in 90 days. We'll see in 90 days what happens. That's the main answer. And 90 days could change everything if negotiations don't play out the way Trump wants it to, clearly. All right, back to my watch list. Citigroup, BAC, J&J. This one's going to be a good one to keep an eye on. It's a nice little range at the moment, and yeah, just keep an eye on it. If it has volume in the pre-market, for sure going to be watching for a trade. Not sure where these lines come from, probably in the pre-market for me, or some possible previous earnings levels and so on. But if the stock, yeah, you can see how it's a pretty wide range on the daily. But if it does pop into the high end of these ranges or the low end of these ranges, pretty simple game plan from there on. Not much to really talk about over there. PNC, another one reporting pre-market. Same idea as Citigroup, same idea as Bank of America. Watching to see if the stock can push into the higher end of the previous week's ranges, the previous 2 weeks ranges. Everything will be really important on how it really trades on Wednesday's high or Wednesday's low. This is actually the whole summary for the market, basically, right? So if the market starts to get back above Wednesday's high, then there is no shorts in the market at all. But if the market's not able to get above Wednesday's high for tomorrow or for any day of the week coming up ahead, then you want to be very careful, you know, for your swing longs. You want to be very careful for your day trading longs, because most of the chances are if market doesn't reclaim the Wednesday's high and you are trying to, let's say, take a breakout long, it snaps back because there's not much momentum on your side. So you want to be careful, looking to see how that plays out. So Wednesday high, you know, just go around your stocks, make your watch list, and chart out your position. See if your position is above its Wednesday's high or below its Wednesday's high, and then you'll be able to get a pretty clear picture of what you want to do with it from there on out. Obviously, make sure that the market is in tune with your levels too. Baba looking pretty good, if I remember. Oh, this is Baidu. Baba, if I remember correctly, is bouncing off the 200-day moving average and pretty much getting above its Wednesday's high and a little bit higher too, right? So Baba, delist fear, no problem. We're gonna keep buying this name. You know, you gotta love it. You gotta love the people who just want to keep buying up the stock every single day, because hey, they're giving me tons of opportunities to short it. Pinduoduo, if this one sets up with more back and forth and then eventually breaks this 87 lows, I mean, that is going to be an absolute banger short to the downside. So always keeping an eye on Pinduoduo. My best trade today, so obviously going to keep an eye on it tomorrow. Not sure we actually see the 87 break tomorrow, but somewhere down the week, if bad news comes in and we keep trading in this area, possible breakdown of that low. Baidu, FXI, they're all on my watch. I just keep cycling through these names, but for the most part, it's Baba and it's Pinduoduo. CVX, this sector looks pretty damn weak, if you ask me. A couple people that I did talk to, who I respect a lot, they did say that they don't care about this short. But I don't think I can stop myself, because I've been game planning for this short for so long, so I won't be able to stop myself if 132 actually breaks and the stock is holding below 132. So I'm gonna still keep an eye on it. I'm gonna put it on my watch. I'm not gonna move away from it, but as a day trade, I think it's very much worth to keep an eye out for. If it does have some selling below 132, potentially opens up some you know, room to the downside to party with. For a stock with an ATR of $6, if we get below 132, I don't have to risk too much, and then we get a clean move to the downside of a $6 move. So very interested to see how that plays out with especially today's weakness in the sector. I mean, it was just straight downside on CVX after a nice gap up in pre-market. Look at that, just no chance the stock had to test 21 EMA until 12:30. Is just straight to the downside, a sell program kicking in and just selling it on every pop, selling it on every pop, selling it on every pop. Offload, offload, offload. Same thing over here, offload, offload, offload. You did have a buy program. I guess that was the overall market that day on Wednesday. But yeah, you can see how ever since then, CVX is not one of those few stocks that is actually trying to go back to its Wednesday's highs. It's just pushing back lower, pushing back lower, pushing back lower. Imagine this takes out the Wednesday's lows or Friday's lows, I guess 132. That would be a lot of fun for me for the short side. But I know Victor H Investing is not going to like that one. Victor H Investing is not going to like that one at all. Okay, Palantir had a pretty good pop today from a news catalyst. I don't know what the news catalyst is, so I could go read it on I guess Benzinga. And if you guys are, oh, I'm tired. If you guys are interested in Benzinga, please go check out my links below in the description. You will get nice discounts for checking out the links. Where are we? Stocks jumped 9% after NATO adopts AI systems for military ops. Okay, so NATO adopting Palantir. If you guys have heard that famous speech by Palantir CEO, I guess he said this multiple times actually, which is sometimes our products are made to kill people. So shout out to Alex Carr for just blatantly coming out and saying that in interviews, that sometimes his product is designed to kill people and wipe out his enemies, or the enemies of USA basically. So Palantir, NATO, military, it all makes sense. A nice pop in the pre-market, but there was way too much of a gap up in the pre-market for me to look long on the stock. Still ended up 4%. But way too much of a gap up for me to look long, and actually gave you a very good double top short right around the open. So you know, you can see how the day's open gets tested, rejects, the whole market rolls off, and it gives you a very good short right there on Palantir today if you were interested in that. But you know, based on the news, based on overall strength in the stock, well above its 200-day moving average, holding in this range really well. Looks like it wants to reclaim the earnings VWAP, the most recent earnings VWAP, and push back above this range high. So all good things on technicals over here, and we already know that the company hates the short sellers and wants to burn the short sellers and help out its investors. So Palantir trying to see if it can have another leg up to the north side, become a triple digit stock once again. And if the market did bottom out, as you know, people are expecting it probably, or people think that it probably did, then you know, this one is the name that you want to keep an eye on. Possible breakout of 100, you hold it to the upside and you just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Palantir SMCI. Ooh, struggling. Volume dying down too. Struggling around this 34.50. I guess nothing really to talk about on that. Nike currently in a very, very tight box. But we care about this one very much, because if it does break that $52.30, $52 area, or even the $60 area to the upside, I have alerts set up on either side if that area does come into play. Yep, I'm ready to take the breakout or the breakdown of either direction. RKLB, it's similar to Palantir, but not as strong as Palantir. It also had one of the like a military contracts news around these ranges, if I remember correctly. So if it does break out to the upside as the market bottom, then we do get a move higher. Then, you know, this could be something also to keep an eye on, similar to Palantir. If this does starts to break out higher with some volume, maybe even swing traders step in and investors step in, and obviously all of that is very good for day traders. So looking to see if this one can give us some move to the upside. And maybe I can set an alert now. Do I want to? All right, fine, I'll set an alert. I'll set an alert and we'll see what happens on that one. Bull, this one's going to be absolute #1 bullshit. The most important name probably tomorrow. We'll see how it sets up. Keep in mind, this is a billion-dollar company, so not knowing exactly what the data is for the stock, data being the float, You know, it's not only $1 million company. I think it's like I don't know how much actually it is valued. Let's go check out if Grok knows how much it's valued. Well, I want to see what that is. All right. What was I gonna look up? What? I guess they're taking this off the stock price, right? Yeah, that's not right because the stock is actually valued much higher than that. Like they are very close competitor to Robinhood. Maybe I shouldn't say close, but a decent enough of a competitor to Robinhood, and I might even say their desktop application rivals Robinhood already and has been for a long time. So I mean, what is this? Look at that. Its valuation was estimated $7.3 billion in a SPAC merger in 2024. For comparison, it's smaller than competitors like Robinhood, who has a market cap of 38.7 billion and significant more asset under management. Yes, I do agree with all of that, but approximately $8.2 billion in customer assets under management and $7.3 billion SPAC merger in 2024. So Robinhood, I mean, I don't know what the heck just happened, random IPO out of nowhere. That should at least be what, 7 bill? So that means this could go much higher. So shorting this name might be a recipe of disaster. So watching to see how it behaves on pullbacks might even be a name to keep an eye on, to, you know, keep an eye out for how it reacts on dips, to buy on the long-term accounts and swing accounts and so on. It is closer to Robinhood, so maybe you can just keep an eye on Robinhood for a sympathy trade. But right now it is just absolutely bananas trade, right? So throw in your anchor VWAP from the IPO, throw in the anchor VWAP from the all-time high, which is currently 79.56. Throw in the anchor VWAP from you know, today and then tomorrow, and then just have your study, use your patterns, and then look for a nice easy trade on BULL. For the most part, I'm gonna try and see if I can catch a dip buy long, because I want to see if there is another day 2 here. There is a good stock to what was that ticker? NMAX? There is a good name to study which did this very recently. This was day 1, this was day 2, and if you see how day 3 plays out, oh, look at that. If day 3 actually plays out like that, the fact that Bulls shares are very cheap, this might be fun if it actually sets up this way. But NMAX went absolutely bananas, okay? From 32 to 286. I'm not sure this is exactly what we see on Bull tomorrow. But if you know, I'll study the chart. If it's exactly what we see tomorrow, that means around 1 o'clock you see a lower day breakdown and a beautiful short opportunity. If it happens, I'll be ready for it. If not, I'm not gonna be too upset about it. I'm gonna, like I said, look for a dip by longs. Let's see if it pulls back lower. Create some sort of a buying opportunity. I'm gonna use the hourly charts. Don't see anything on the hourly charts at all. So, you know, yeah, it's also spready, very, very spready. So if you are not used to trading stocks like this, you guys need to be very careful. What the heck? Why does the one day chart look so weird like that? Okay. Bull on watch. MP and TMC made a little bit of a run today because Trump said something about minerals, and how he wants to have a mineral stash, compete against China, I guess, obviously, against the battery mineral acid, what is it, lithium, and all other rare earth minerals that might be needed to bring manufacturing of silicon, of chips, of batteries, of everything that he wants to bring away from China into Canada, into America. You know, all the good news, I guess, was kind of today basically towards mineral. Is this the same thing? Maybe I'm confused myself. Hold up. I know TMC was that one. Maybe MP was not that. Let's quickly go check what MP was. Okay, there you go. Critical metals. So this is also that, but materials, I guess I got a little confused when it said materials. I thought it was like textile materials or something. I don't want to be a little confused. Okay, so 27.59, basically staying above that is bullish for me with the big volume candle. I think one of my good friends, who's actually a streamer in morning and also hosts a very good Discord room, which costs money. But if you're interested and if you're a swing trader, I would suggest you to go check it out. His Twitter handle is Real Simple Ariel, and awesome dude, loves to help people. Go check him out. He streams every day in the morning at 8:30 till 9:30, I think, or at least from 9 till 9:30. I know that for a fact. MP, looking at this one, as I said, 27, 29 is that high. So as long as we stay above 27, 29 tomorrow on dips, I'll be looking to get long on this bad boy. So I'm just gonna put that one as 27, 29 to $27 basically. I want to see the stock holding above 27 to look long. TMC, kind of similar idea, lower price name. I guess it's a low flow. I'm not really sure if it is. We can go check. TMC, what are you? What is your flow? What's your other data? 119 million shares, $1 billion market cap. I guess anything below 2 billion is actually considered small cap. I'm pretty sure it is. You know, kind of on the edge of the border over there, flirting with small cap or not. 9% short flow, which is pretty decent. And if this one kind of joins even more to the upside, you know, joins that rally, the chart's not really as clean as the other one, but this one does have a much longer resistance level. Let me just quickly try to put the level right there. Boom. 334, which I think the stock's actually hanging out at the moment at. So that comes from 2022 highs. So if it pushes back into 2022 highs and starts to hold above that area, then it's just a no-brainer long at that point, right? So if the stock is holding above 3 on dips tomorrow, I think looking long on this one for a move back into this high and a move higher might not be a wrong idea. Today's VWAP is actually going to be 250, so you can see how overextended this move already is. So potential shorts tomorrow, opportunity first, and then a long later on, depending on this Trump news. But you know, just based on the technical chart, you know how long of a resistance area that is. If the stock is able to get above it, I don't think I want to be really fighting the longs, right? So if it's showing me strength above $3, I don't think I want to be looking for a short. Basically saying if it's getting below 3, I will be looking for a short, right? If it gets below 3, look short. If it's strong above 3, I'm only looking long. Today, oh, I didn't mean to type that. Today, GM and Ford had a pretty good move off of some Trump comments. So potential move to their upside if they reclaim. Very simple, Wednesday's highs. So Wednesday high right there, last week's high, which is 46.30. Reclaiming 46.30 would take it right back into this little chop zone where it broke down from, and also right back into the 200-day moving average. Similar idea to Ford, but Ford already above its Wednesday's high. So potential dips into Wednesday high area and then holding could give you a long over there, but you're already moving into a lot of chop zone and right back into 200-day moving average too. So I'm not really looking to take make a breakout long on Ford over there. STLA a little bit further from the 200-day moving average, still well under the Wednesday high, so potential shorts as it finds resistance into Wednesday's high. But if it starts to get above Wednesday high, then you want to be very careful looking for that shorts. It could potentially have a bigger move back into 1150 and then actually join its partners back into the north side. However, this one's on a big downtrend, so we'll see how that one plays out. I think STLA today was the strongest one out of the three, actually, up 5.6. This one was up 4. GM kind of much lower, up 3%. So you can see how STLA trying to really recover itself on any good news. On good news, let me jump back up. It goes. Netflix actually had some sort of a banger news. I think they said they're going to try and double their revenue in the coming year, and they're gonna, you know, go do some crazy stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised by that, actually, because, you know, Netflix added WWE to their platform. I'm not saying that because I'm a big fan of WWE and I watch it. No, I'm saying that because WWE and UFC are partnered, and I'm a big fan of UFC, and that means UFC, whose contract with ESPN is coming to an end, is very soon most likely going to have a big contract with Netflix, where they potentially will, you know, I can see this happening where they host the free fight nights and a bunch of other UFC fighting catalog that can automatically be hosted on Netflix, right? So all of these old fight catalogs will be immediately uploaded through Netflix. You'll have very similarly like how that Jake Paul boxing live event was. You'll watch these UFC live events every single day that are the free cards, and then when the pay-per-view happens, you have to buy the pay-per-view through Netflix itself. That is extra money Netflix generates, and that's some money that that UFC also gets to collect through Netflix's funnel and so on. And I think this is going to be, you know, one of those opportunities for Netflix to really build their sports catalog, then bring in, you know, maybe football, soccer, NFL, you name it. So it's just going to be an insane opportunity for Netflix if they pull this off, and I think that is exactly how it's going to play out. So we'll see how it goes into these high areas, and not really a day trade watch, but more so for the swing trade and the long term if it starts to actually get back into these higher areas. I'll be honest, it's a very pricey stock, so potentially even taking fractional shares on this one. Or just taking, you know, one share and just riding the one share. Okay. Netflix, not much we can really do with that one for a day trade, sadly. You can always trade NFXL, which is the direct, the 2 times leverage, 3 times leverage ETFs. They don't really have that much volume, but you can always trade these ones if you're interested to get some exposure on Netflix. And that is basically all she wrote for our trades, or at least my trades that I'm interested. As I said, the most important level will be what will QQQ do tomorrow around 468. So I'm just going to put that in my notes, 468. S&P 500, that is, what is it again? 548.50. IWM, I don't really need to watch IWM, do I? I mean, I don't care about IWM. 192.11. And the Dow Jones, which is 408. So these are the 4 levels that will be very important tomorrow. If the markets are not able to ignore IWM, in my opinion, if SPY and the QQQ are not able to get above their 2 resistance pockets, then there might still be some sellers, you know, taking advantage of these pops and not really allowing buyers to rally the market back higher. But once we do reclaim this, I think it's a long only day tomorrow. I'm forgetting a bunch of stocks over here, which are the large cap stocks that I always keep an eye on, such as Apple, Amazon, and so on. You can see how Apple's low a day today was exactly last week's high, which is that Friday's high. Amazon kind of still below that area. Google was well above that area and then pulled back in later on today. So just keep an eye out for those same levels. The idea still stands true. How do these stocks react to the Wednesday's high? For example, Nvidia. If Nvidia starts to get above that Friday high 115, and the market does the same thing, I think it's going to be one of the easiest longs where you can hold for the rest of the day and just rally it to the upside. So watching Tesla, watching Nvidia, and all of these stocks tomorrow at the same time, which are not on the watch list, but those are names that I always keep an eye on. These are some of the more important names that I'm going to potentially focus on more. Quickly going into the economic calendar and then the IPO calendar. Let's go see what the econ calendar looks like. Econ calendar for tomorrow says we got export-import numbers at 8:30. New York State of Manufacturing at 8:30. API crude oil, I don't really see anything too important, so looks pretty dead. What about this week later on? So dead Tuesday, dead Monday pretty much. Core retails, crude, 20-year bond on that's Wednesday, sorry. Housing starts, jobless claims on 8:30 on Thursday. So not really too much. A bunch of 2-star events. We do have some 3-star events over here on Thursday, but for the most part 2-star events. Retail sales, another 3-star event over there, but nice and calm calendar for the economic side. Quickly go take a look at the is this tomorrow? Please don't be tomorrow. Okay, it's not. So we do have a good IPO potentially. Chagi Holdings, what the heck is that? Chagi Holdings coming in with almost a $500 million offer amount, with 14.6 million shares being thrown into the market. So let's see what that stock is tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Is it tomorrow? No, we'll talk about that stock Wednesday, so make sure you tune in for that one if you're interested to see what that stock is also. But that's all she wrote for today. We talked about my trades on the day, talked about some of the stocks that I'm interested for tomorrow. Quickly want to show you some pictures over here of what happened in UFC over the weekend. So Trump goes around greeting people, says hi to RFK, shakes his hand, looks at his wife in the eyes. She offers the hand. He looks away. She freaks out. She's like, what the heck? Okay, okay. And he's laughing the whole time. He sees Joe Rogan and he goes, whoa! And all emotion just comes in. Wow, like, absolutely. What's the beef over there? I'm trying to figure that one out. But absolutely happy to see your boy Joe Rogan. I love it. Another event today that took place was this. Astronauts who went to space and spent most of their time looking at a camera. They got like 5 minutes in space. They got 5 minutes in space and they spent that looking at camera and playing with toys. I don't understand some of these people sometimes, man. Oh well, let me go take a. Trump snubbed Cheryl Hines. Who the heck is that? I don't even know what the heck that is. Sick entry, bro. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, it is 9 o'clock, and I think it's perfect time to call it a night. We talked about all the things we needed to, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great trading day tomorrow. For those of you who day trade, if you're just swing trading, then I guess, obviously, be a little careful because it's still a little volatile environments. I think if markets do reclaim Wednesday's high, then I think it's game on for you to continue holding into your longs. But if market kind of looks scary on the reclaim of Wednesday's highs, then you might want to think about maybe cutting your positions, or you know, you never take a loss if you never sold your position, right? Not financial advice. I'll catch you guys next time. TraderPrad out. Peace.
Monster moves on the QQQ, monster moves on Nvidia and other positions too, all across the board. Magnificent 7 also had a pretty good day on themselves today, so pretty good moves across the board. Tech basket get destroyed. Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow, as you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.